Hi, Fran. Happy Wednesday. Can you hear me okay, friend? Let me know. You're the first one here, Fran, as always. Country Mouse! Hi, how are you? Happy Wednesday. Good, I'm glad, Fran. Thank you. And again, I'm compressed. Right? Right. Here we go. Here we go, friends. Right? I hope everybody's doing good. Look here. Look here. We're in the hen house tonight. We certainly are. I know, Fran, right? It never fails. It never fails. If it's not one thing, it's another, right? And if it wasn't anything, then you wouldn't be here at Lilleybugglane, right? I knew you'd see it, Country Mouse. I knew you would. I figured we needed some old hen representation, right? Right. Thank you, Fran. Thank you. Got a little I Spy going on tonight, friends. So keep your peepers open, right? Keep your peepers open tonight. So I just saw a short from Max, right? And there is another storm ramping up very quickly for this weekend, and it's on the East Coast. So Fran, be prepared and not scared, friends. Yes, right? Jody, you're asleep at the wheel, sister. That was last week's I Spy. And the I Spy is not the old hen. It's not the old hen, and it's not some more blooms. Hello, Margaret. How are you? Happy Wednesday. So nice to see you. Thank you for supporting your daughter. Right? Right. Oh, there you go. Fran and Jody, you saw it, didn't you? You sure did. We don't have any sunlight, so we're going to have to do the best we can. But there it is, friends, right there. Disco, disco, disco. Oh, right? I know. Excuse me. I had the door flame blowing over this way. I guess it is a Christmas bulb, Mom. Yeah, I guess it is. Barely visible. Oh my goodness, your bionic eyes aren't working, Mom. I think it's because it's against the print, but it'll be hanging higher. Well, it'll catch the sunlight at some point, wherever we decide to put them. But someone very special showed me her disco ball, and I thought it was fabulous. So I was gifted a disco ball. I was gifted two disco balls, actually. So there we go, friends. Jen, there you are. Jen, you got your fleece tights on, sister? I got mine on. I certainly do. Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Lilleybugglane. I am Lala, and this is Circle Time. It is January 28th, friends, 2026. This is our last Circle Time of January. Whoop, 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 whoop. Guess what that means? We're getting that much closer to spring. We certainly are, friends. We certainly are. And when I say that my favorite month or my favorite season is summer, I mean it, friends. I mean it. And when summer comes, I don't bitch and moan because it's too hot and humid, do I? I do not. So if you're saying that your favorite season is winter, you know, you shouldn't be bitching and moaning about it. You certainly should not. Just had to get that off my chest, friends. Keep your seatbelts handy because I have figured something out. I certainly have. A sister hen and I got together and we had a little bit of a discussion. We certainly did because we We want to punch our own selves in the face, friends. We certainly do. That's how irritated we have become, right? I mean, honestly, I don't think I could get 9 people together as a pioneer to go across the plains in a covered wagon. I don't think I could, friends. I mean, seriously? Everybody that's bitching and moaning and crying and whining about the storm, you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. And you were telling everybody to be prepared, and you were telling everybody you were prepared. How's that work? Did you, Mom? Oh, the wrens. Mom, the wrens are what get into our bluebird houses. And it makes Chewy so angry. It makes him so angry, Mom. It does. It does. I'll tell you, he would give anything to have bluebirds in our backyard. He certainly would. We had a bunch of cardinals the other day. We did, like 2 days ago, we had a bunch of cardinals during the storm. We did. They were flying from the holly tree into the backyard. So, well, they can go live under the neighbor's garage roof, Mom. That's what they can do. So anyway, fall and spring are Fran's favorite. We know that, Fran. We know that. I don't like winter. You all know I don't like winter. And I've been whining and bitching and crying about it to everybody that'll listen to me that I don't like winter. And thankfully, the people that I'm whining and bitching and crying to don't like winter either. So we can commiserate together. We certainly can. But I hope everybody's doing well. I certainly do. And this is it, friends. This is it for January. Can you believe it? How quick that went by. We are entering February, friends, right? I know, Jody, right? We are entering February, right? Busy month, right? I mean, seriously, it's like February and November. I know a lot of things are coming every year. Some things quicker than others, right? I know, Jen, right? I know. But it's just, the older you get, the harder it is to tolerate weather and stupid, right? And you can't help the weather. That's out of your control. And some people can't help stupid. Not sorry, just honest. Okay, friends, a couple of words in the chat. What is your weather in your area? Right now, we are 4 degrees here at Lilleybugglane. It feels like -7, right? It feels like -7. And we had a little bit of sun today, friends. Just a teensy bit. Just a teensy bit of sun today. Not even enough for me to run outside and catch. I saw a little bit of a shadow. I did. I saw a little bit of a shadow. We went out to dinner tonight because it's Wednesday. So we go out to dinner on Wednesdays. We did do some shopping. And let me tell you something, friends. 11 and feels like 4. Yeah, 5 and feels like -2. No sun there. Oh, right. I know. 0. And Jay is over the tights, right? Well, tell him to take them off. They're not for him, Jen. They're for you. 47 and falling. Hi, Miss Mary. Hi, Kelly. How are ya? Got something for the old hens, Kelly and Miss Mary. I figured they needed some representation. Right, Fran? Right? The fleece tights aren't for the boys. Well, they are. They are for the boys, but they're not for the boys to wear. They're not, right? They're not. So there we go, friends. There we go. I hope everybody is doing well. I certainly do. Oh, okay. I don't know what the school situation is here. I don't have children in school anymore, so I don't really pay attention to it. But I would imagine, I don't know. I don't know. Why even send them to school anymore? I mean, seriously, 47% of kids that graduate cannot read at grade level. Just so you know that. Just so you know that, friends. Not anyone's fault, but I can almost pinpoint when that happened. That tipping point of that, I can almost pinpoint it. I certainly can. So anyway, friends, here we go, right? Here we go. Entering into the month of love, right? We are entering into the month of love. And it's a short month. We're going to do freezer February here at Lilleybugglane. So I'm going to be doing as many meals as I can with what we have in the freezers, right? So that we can, deplete our stock and restock, right? So as I use what's up here, and this freezer up here is not jammed full. It's not jammed full. As we use what is up here, I will bring it up from our chest freezer that is downstairs. So, and then replenish at the end of February, replenish what is taken out of 16 and you feel like 13. That's pretty chilly, Mom. That's pretty chilly for you all. Replenish what has been taken out of the freezer downstairs. So that's kind of how we do it. And I can tell you right now, friends, we are going to be having quite a bit of stir fry because I have bags of stir fry vegetables and kielbasi and rotisserie chicken that I deboned and froze, which can be used in stir fries and things like that. And we'll be having pot pie, chicken pot pie. We'll be having that. And I am doing I'm going to be doing beef stew. You did that the other day, Fran. What did you do? Chicken pot pie or stir fry? Which one? Before the storm hit, before we had the storm, fried rice. Yeah. I do the fried cauliflower, Fran. I don't do it with rice. And Louise doesn't have any rice with her stir fry. She just likes to eat the vegetables and the meat. So she doesn't put anything in it. But Chewy and I have the riced cauliflower. So before the storm came here, right, I made a big pot of chili. So we had that on standby, and we did eat that. And then I also did up tuna fish salad, right? So, it's the tuna fish and the mayo and the hard-boiled eggs and the sweet relish, and you mix it all together. So I had that on the standby, right? Had that. And I'm trying to think what else I had made. Oh, I made some cornbread to go with the chili. So that was on the standby. So we were good, friends. We were good. And I did do up 6 hard-boiled eggs. So just in case we lost electricity, we would still be able to have, our eggs. Because Chewy and I like to have 2 eggs in the morning. So we were prepared with that. I had done some cooking ahead, right? And you can do that, Mom. I like to add the sweet relish. That adds the crunch. But tuna fish is easy because you can either put it on bread or you can have it with crackers, depending on how you want to have it. So, so we were prepared. The only thing we did that I felt needed to be done as the storm was coming in was we put up a blanket on the other side of the curtains in the foyer. So you all know we have those heavy insulated curtains in between the foyer and the entry, where the entry door is, which the door is original to Lilleybugglane because that's the original part of the house. And so we put up a very heavy blanket over the original door just to keep the cold from coming in. And can I tell you something? That was a huge difference. Now, I'm gonna suggest something. I'm just gonna suggest this, okay? I'm just gonna suggest this because I think this is what Chewy and I are gonna do. I think it's what we're gonna do. I'm going to be on the lookout at Goodwill for a curtain rod, okay? And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about this kind, which is like your thin aluminum that's bent on the ends. I'm talking about a nice curtain rod, right? With maybe like finials at the end. It doesn't have to be very big, but it has to be wider than the door. And I'm going to have him hang that hang that rod above the front door, okay? And you're going to have it's going to extend on each side. It's going to extend on each side, okay? And then I'm going to look for really good insulated curtains, right? That I can put on pinch hooks, rings, right? And I'm going to put those on the curtain rod so they can be closed over the door if it gets cold, right? And they can be opened when it's not so cold, right? Over the front door. Now we already have a barrier going from the entry into the foyer area, right? Because we have two kind of like separate areas at the front where you come in the front door, it's tiled and everything, and there's coat closets and everything. And then you walk into the main part of the house where the foyer area is, so there's two separates. So in between those, we have heavy, heavy curtains to block the air because there's not a lot of good insulation around that original door. And we don't want to replace that door because then it wouldn't be original to the house. And we have to work on the, it's a half door, like that. So yeah, Mom. Yep. I know. So that's a good thing to keep your peepers open for at the Goodwill. And you can always get curtain rods, right? Like your nice decorative curtain rods, and hang them above doorways in rooms, right? And just have them hanging there, right? And then if you need to start blocking off, you can do it very, very easily with those pinch rings. You know what I'm saying? And they can be up there all the time because not a lot of people will notice those. You know what I mean? So just something to think about, friends. But that's what we're going to do. That's what I've already decided. But anyway, friends, it's mint time. Oh, do you? Okay. Okay, you could do that, Fran. Yeah. But I'm just thinking, and I've seen Fran in like interior design videos and things like that. You know how people have the side lights on the sides of their windows or on the sides of their doors? They have those side lights. I've seen people hang a curtain rod the entire width, right? And even beyond the side lights. And then that's what they do. They have curtains, right, that they can push beyond the side lights during the day. And then at night, they bring the curtains together completely, and it even covers their door. So, and it looks pretty. I mean, it doesn't look like, janky or anything like that. It looks pretty. It certainly does. But it was just something I was thinking about that could be, it could be something that you pre-do, right? And then it's there and you don't have to worry about it. And then when the time comes, if you need to start blocking off rooms, right? Yes, Mom. When you need to start blocking off rooms, it's real easy for you to do that. And like my mom said, a lot of people, and they used to do this back in the day, the pioneers did, and it's even in my Little House on the Prairie books, when they would build a shanty, when Pa would build a shanty where they were going to settle, right? And they had to live in a shanty before he built the house they were going to live in, or the log cabin or whatever it was. they would use an old quilt as a door. And Pa would nail the top, nail it at the top, and that was their door. And, Jack the bulldog would lay there, in front of it at night to keep the family safe. So you can always use quilts. You can use old comforters. You can use flannel sheets. You can use heavy blankets, anything like that. But you can use those pinch rings, right? You can use those and just have those on the rod, and it's lickety split. It's lickety split. Yeah. So just, I was just throwing out an idea, but we're going to do it here at the front door. We're going to do it here at the front door. And once it's done, I'll share it with you friends, right? I'll share it with you friends. It's mint time, everybody. It certainly is. Whew. Let's take a sip though, because I'm a little bit parched, friends. Oh, did I say I had the door flame pointing towards me before we started tonight? So I'm a little bit parched and my eyes are juicy, friends. They are juicy. Between the cold outside, the warm inside, being in Amelia with the heat blowing, and then I got my seat on full blast, right? Because I'm cold. I'm cold. Woo! And let me tell you something, Chewy, he was keeping up with the snow the best he could as it was coming down. It was just coming down, friends. And he went out there twice and shoveled, and then finally he just said, as it was coming down, he said, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait. But he's glad he did shovel as it was coming down, because we got about a little bit. Shh. 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 Zip it. Zip it. Zip it, Jen. Zip it. Shh. It's mint time, everybody. Jen, take a mint. You have your choice. You certainly do. Let's all say it together because we all know the spiel. Winto Green Lifesavers, the OG of the mint bowl. You have your orange mints, which are a burst of sunshine in your mouth, friends. So if you haven't seen the sun, you need an orange mint. And if I didn't chew gum like Britney Spears, I would be having a mint, because I do chew gum like Britney Spears. So I'm not having a mint. Then, friends, you have your spicy cinnamon mints, right? And the boys love them. Jen, take two. This is in place of the fleece tights. Then, friends, you have your, let's dig in here. Ooh, butter rum lifesavers, friends. Butter rum lifesavers. I know. Poor you. Don't have the memory, right? Of riding in the back of your grandma's Impala on air shocks. And if you know, friends. Some of us have it and some of us don't. I know, it's not fair, but that's the way it is. Root beer barrels! No medicinal aftertaste, aren't we lucky? We certainly are. Old school, friends. Old school. And then, of course, we have, they were getting a little friendly. Werther's Original Caramels. Caramels, friends. Not caramels, caramels. Werther's Original. Now, let me tell you something. For our sister hens, right? Our sister hens that have a little touch of the sugar, friends. A little touch of the sugar. And let me just say this, okay? Okay. Those of us that grew up during a certain time or of a certain generation and had grandparents and great-grandparents that were still alive, right, and that we interacted with, know that when I say a touch of the sugar, right, it's a touch of the bettis, friends. It's a little bit of the diabetes, right? You know Wilford Brimley, right? You know who he is, right? Think about it. That's what it is. You got a little touch of the sugar, friends. That's what they used to say back in the day, that I got a little bit of sugar. That meant that they had a little touch of the bettis, a little diabetes. Okay. Now, for our sister hens, right? For our sister hens who have a little touch of the bettis, and we're not judging. Fran has the sugar-free mint bowl. Well, it's not mints, friends. It's just sugar-free candy. It certainly is. So, if you need sugar-free, you see Fran. That's how it goes here at Lilleybugglane, okay? Fran's in charge of the sugar-free candy bowl. Fran is also our safety officer, right? We all know the international signal for choking. This is it, friends. In case you don't know, you're learning something. This is it. International, okay? So Fran's going to keep her papers open, okay? And if you need any help, you send out that back signal and Fran will be there. She certainly will. With the sugar-free candies and with assistance. She will, friends. We always pass to the right, as per etiquette, and my etiquette Miyagi's, Mrs. Pfeiffer, my charm school teacher, and Emily Post, the queen of etiquette, friends, the queen of etiquette. Enjoy your mints. Up. Outfit of the last circle time of January, friends. Nothing fancy, friends. Nothing fancy. So this is a Columbia fleece that I got at the Goodwill. Absolutely love it. It's black and gray, quarter zip. It's got the Columbia right there. I'm wearing my rib sweater, time and true. Just this necklace, nothing fancy, right? But you got to have a little bit, friends. You got to have a little bit of shine, right? You do. And then I have on my fleece tights, or my Cuddle Duds fleece leggings, fleece tights underneath, right? This is the pink thermal shirt that I thrifted from the Goodwill. Let me tell you something, friends. These things are warm. They are so warm. They are. And then I got my fleece tights on underneath. And I'm giving you a little bit of show, friends. So I need some thumbs up. I certainly do. I mean, not everybody would get up and start doing this. And there's the fleece tights right there. You're welcome. You're welcome. And Uggs. So the snow and stuff that we have isn't slushy. You know what I mean? We didn't get a bunch of ice. So it's not slushy and it's not like dirty brown yet because it hasn't been warm enough. So nothing's melting yet. So that's why I wore my Uggs, right? Because you don't wear Uggs in ugly snow or sleet or slush, right? But it's just packed snow right now. It's just packed snow. And let me tell you something, friends. I've heard a couple of people, because I've been watching videos, right, about people that were so prepared, right? They were so prepared for the storm, right, that they're ordering grocery delivery and they're ordering DoorDash. Seriously? Why would you ever want someone to go out in the weather? Why would you want that? Right? You got flour, you got water, you got baking soda, you got baking powder, right? No, they're not for messy winter. They're not for messy winter at all. They certainly are not. So, okay, friends. Oh, that was just the half hour. Sorry about that. There we go, friends. Clear the air, right? So, as you can see, we've got our display going on here, and you can see that our amaryllis makes some bread. Make the bread, Fran, right? Make the bread. But, you know, again, Fran, right? Again, your life is actually a saucer. but you think your life is a platter, right? And you just overfill it, and then you just get, you just get overwhelmed, and you can't even, you can't even do it, right? Right. Okay, friends. Looky here. This is our sister. This is our sister hen. Look at that. That's for you, Miss Mary. This is for our old hens in our circle. We're all a bunch of old hens, aren't we? We certainly are. Nothing to be ashamed of, friends. Nothing to be ashamed of. Thank you, Fran. I'm lucky enough to have a friend, right? Lucky enough to have a friend. And I do have friends who is a fabulous crocheter. I know, right? I know. Do I have some? Okay. Look here, friends. There we go. Now, the ones at Chewy's work are much more open. You know what I'm saying? These still look like they're a little bit closed. Can you see? His are very open. But of course, there's that. Yeah. So there's those. And we saw these last Wednesday, right? But I think they've kind of deepened in color. I actually like them quite a bit. I do. I like this triple flower bloom. I do. And then, friends, these are starting to open, as you can see. Right? And you see there's another bloom right there. So these might just be two. I'm not sure. But these are opening. Right? Hi, Tina. How are you? Did you sneak in here, friend? And then we still got these. Now, this one over here, trying to turn it. This one over here looks like it's cracking a little bit, right? So we'll see how that does. And these are still little stubs, friends. These are still little stubs, but we'll get through it. We will. And then, of course, we have our candle, maple butter, right? We love our candle. We love our candle. I had that burning during the storm, and Chewy said it was very, very nice to have that candle burning. Then, of course, we have Smitty, right? He oversees the shit show. He only gets paid once a week, though. I cannot afford to pay him more than once a week. We have our clearance cherries. We have our Raggedy Ann right there. We all know what she stands for, right? We certainly do. We have our disco ball, right? And then we have our cherries. And they're fun. They have little faces on them. They're so cute. So that's our display. But I brought out our hen, friends. I did. As our mascot. I brought out our hen. I did. Does she look like a Roberta? Does she look like a Roberta? Or a Ruby? Something. I don't know. Not Ruby. Not Ruby, because then that would be like Ruby Frankie, and we don't want to do Ruby Frankie, do we? We do not. Nobody does. Okay. I have two recommendations for you, friends. I have two. Lucky you, right? Lucky you. And friends, I have a new red writing implement. I was gifted a new Roberta. No, Ruby. Okay, Roberta. Roberta. Do we call her Birdie for short, or do we just call her Roberta? Anyway, here's my new red writing implement. It is a red marker, friends. And let me tell you something. This is ultra fine. Look how ultra fine that is. Woo! Right? I know. I know. Okay. The first recommendation is a money-saving birdie, okay? Money-saving channel, okay? Now, there's not a whole lot of advice that people can give about saving money that hasn't already been thought of, right? You got Dave Ramsey's debt snowball, you got the $1 a day savings, You've got the don't spend the $5 bill savings. You've got the save a quarter, save your change savings. You've got buy things on sale, buy things secondhand, put plastic on your windows, make your own breadcrumbs. I mean, there's nothing new about saving money, and there's no tips or tricks that really anybody can come up with that are actually new. They're just recycled and said in a different way. Okay. Let's be honest, friends. Let's be honest. And so you may like the way that she presents her ideas. The channel name is Frozen Pennies. Frozen Pennies. Pennies is Pennies. Very, very pleasant lady. Very pleasant lady. So you might like her. And she does have a lot of frugal living tips, right? And some prepping also. Some prepping also. And I would say beginner level prepping. Beginner level prepping. So then, friends, this is a re-recommendation and a very specific video, okay? Now, I don't know. I fall down these rabbit holes, right? I fall down these rabbit holes, friends. I certainly do. And you all know that, or I don't know if you are or not. Okay. Think back to when Joseph Robinette Biden and Kamala, whatever she wanted to go by, on whatever day in whatever neighborhood she was in, Ms. Harris, were in office. And I don't know if you remember or not, but Miss Harris went overseas somewhere. And when she was deplaning, she became disoriented. And look at that neck hair, friends. You see what I'm talking about? Can you see that right there? That like little cowlick thing, right? And they thought that she was suffering from what they call Havana syndrome. Okay. Now, Havana syndrome is a cluster of symptoms that someone may have, okay, after like a long flight, right? Like an international flight or whatever, okay? And there are different symptoms: disorientation, blurry vision, ringing in the ears, nauseous feeling. A lot of it could just be time zone changes, air sickness, pressure sickness, atmosphere sickness, alcohol sickness, whatever. But this is a thing. It is a thing, and it is it is a thing, right? And it's mostly seen in like politicians and world leaders and things like that, okay? Now, there is a belief that it is a type of biometric warfare, okay? It's a way to disable, right, large groups of people or a certain person, right? And it's believed to be done with either microwaves or radio waves, right? And I should have got my visor, friends. I should have. I went through all my candles and I found my visor, my conspiracy visor. So anyway, redacted. 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 Now that's Clayton and Natalie, right? We all know who they are. Real cute couple. And they did a video just a couple days ago, and it's about the Havana syndrome. Okay? Now, the bullshit that is happening right now in Minnesota, okay? There are people that believe that the almost exclusively white people, right, that are fighting ICE, right? You don't see any legal Somalis out there fighting ICE, do you? Protecting the illegal Somalis. You don't see anybody out there but the white people. Isn't that something? Wonder why they're doing that. Wonder why they're how would they benefit by keeping illegal Somalis, right? Wonder. Anyway, they believe that a type of Havana syndrome could be being used on these protesters and these Antifa, right? These special Antifa people, special, right? That it could be a form of Havana syndrome that is being used on them in order to whip them up into this frenzy that they're in, right? So just go watch that video. I highly recommend it. They do talk about the jab, which is very, very interesting as to how they can be doing this, right? And we all know about nanolipids and what nanolipids carry, right? So I would invite you to go. I would invite you to go see that video. Very, very interesting, right? And a way to control people, right? A way to control people is through fear, right? Is through fear. And if you keep people fearful enough, right, they will do anything that you want. They will do anything that you ask to make it stop, right? So the more that Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, right, and Mayor Fry can whip these useful idiots up, right, and cause chaos and burn Minneapolis to the ground, which, if that's what you want, okay, let me tell you something, okay? I would not be tolerating this. Okay? You want to be left alone, Minnesota? We're going to leave you alone. You're not getting one red dime. You're not getting one red fake copper penny from the federal government anymore. You are on your own. And if you know anything about revolutions, anything at all, okay? Anything at all, right? What happened after the revolution? What happened to those useful idiots? Right? What happened to them after the revolution? Right? Right? And just like we heard, drive, baby, drive, we have now heard, right? We have now heard from a grown-ass man's mother that they begged him not to go. Do not go, right? And I say, and I have said, and I will continue to say, when you make a decision, there are consequences. There are consequences, whether they be good or whether they be bad. They're consequences. And nobody is responsible but you for the decisions, right? Nobody's responsible. And if you don't have a dog in the fight, then what the hell are you doing there to begin with? And this just goes to show how useful these idiots are, that they are willing, right? They have been sold the idea of laying their bodies down and becoming martyrs. So let Minneapolis burn. Let it burn to the ground. pull ICE out. Pull them out. Pull them out. Don't send any federal money. Don't send any federal troops. Get ICE out of there. Just let it burn. Let it fall to the ground. Build a big old wall around Minnesota and just let it be. Let it be. Because you got to be real careful about what you wish for. You got to be real careful. And if these white people think that they are going to end up on top, right, in Minneapolis, they are sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. Because when you import the third world, you become the third world. You certainly do. You certainly do. And for these citizens that are in Minneapolis that have nothing to do with this, I don't know what the hell they're doing, standing around with their thumbs up their asses. They got one thumb up their ass and one thumb in their mouth, begging for everybody to stop fighting. I mean, seriously, what are you talking about? And the people that went into the church, Don Lemon, you sick, perverted piece of shit. And you know what makes me even mad? Not the fact that they stormed that church. You know what makes me mad? That the Christians turned around and ran out of the church. What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? You stand there saying that you have the armor of God surrounding you and that nothing can touch you and that you are protected by God and God is, it's in his hands. And you run out of the Lord's house. You are chased out by demons. You are chased out by demons, which is disgraceful. Every Christian that was in that church, that left that church, should be ashamed of themselves. They need to stand up. They need to stand up and protect Christianity and protect the faith. Because I'm telling you right now, that was a tipping point. If you think for one hot fucking minute that there's not going to be more storming of churches, then you are mistaken, because nobody stopped them. Nobody was arrested. And now they're celebrating the fact that they've done it. And that's where Christianity has been weaponized against Christians, because Christians aren't supposed to fight back. Christians are supposed to turn the other cheek. Christians are supposed to open their arms and welcome everybody into the Lord's house. Well, everybody that comes into the Lord's house does not have the best intentions towards Christians. And once we realize that, right? Once we realize that, maybe we'll start taking back some control. Or taking back our rights. But that was a disgusting display. Disgusting. To see those Christians turn around and run. Of course, I would have turned around and ran too, because the damn pastor had on a pair of slim fit pants. So, whatever, right? Whatever. But we need, here's the deal, okay? Here's the deal. This is how it works with me, okay? And I don't give two shits, okay? I don't give two shits. 3 chances. 3. And that's it. After 3, I'm going to start speaking the language that you will understand. Right? That you will understand. Well, of course you would have, Mom. Of course you would have. And let me tell you something right now. Don Lemon, okay? Don Lemon has his own problems, okay? Don Lemon has his own problems. Don Lemon is a pervert. He is a pervert. I mean, you can't stand there and say that you are a follower of Jesus and that you are you're a defender of the faith and that, you will stand solid on the ground of the Lord. That's bullshit. If you say that and then you turn around and run, then that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You either believe that God is there protecting you, surrounding you with the armor of him, right, in the church, and that he will protect you, or you don't. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. And that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. Turn the other cheek. Give me grace. Show me some compassion. We need to show empathy. What would Jesus do? Don't judge. I'll tell you what Jesus would do. Jesus would put a millstone around your neck and throw you into the ocean, right? Because that's what he did to people who abused children, right? Threw a millstone around their neck and threw them into the ocean. That's what he says. I mean, I do not in any way claim to be any kind of scholar on the Bible or theology or anything like that. But I can tell you pretty clearly that what it says is what it says. And I take it for how it's written. I don't try and interpret it so it fits in to the behaviors that I may be trying to excuse. But I'm tired of giving grace. I'm tired of compassion. I'm tired of empathy. I'm tired of understanding. I'm tired of, oh, well, they're just having a rough time. They've got anxiety, they've got depression, they've got bipolar, they've got multiple personality disorder. Tell that to Rob Reiner and Michelle. Tell it to them. What? Tell it to them. Right? And don't think that God doesn't test us as Christians. Don't think that. Don't think God doesn't test us as Christians. And any situation that we're in could be a test that we are being given by God. Not to show him how strong our faith is, but maybe to show ourselves how strong our faith is, or how strong it isn't. But if Minneapolis wants to be left alone, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let it burn to the ground. I don't give two shits about Minnesota, to be quite honest with you. I really don't. I don't know anybody there. And if that's the way they want to live, let them live there. Exactly, Kelly. Exactly. 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 But I'm going to tell you right now, just like schools are soft targets, churches are soft targets, right? Churches are soft targets, right? But they didn't stand up for you during COVID. So what makes you think they're going to stand up for you now? When you got these when you got these fucking banshees coming in during services and scaring the shit out of the little kids and bullying everybody, right? What, right? And nobody stood up to him. Nobody. I mean, there were a couple of old guys outside trying to reason with Don Lemon. I mean, seriously. Seriously. And I keep going back to this, and I learn more about it. Well, that's true, Fran. That's true. That's true. But I keep going back to this. And I've heard a couple of preachers, ministers, pastors, priests, whatever you want to say, whatever they are, okay? I don't know where people get the idea that God went around with a smile on his face all the time and never got angry and never exacted punishment on people. I don't know where people are getting that from. I mean, he tipped the tables, he fashioned a whip, right? He put, millstones around the necks of people, things like that. I mean, come on now, come on. I mean, this is just disgusting to me. It's disgusting. Not only what is happening in Minneapolis is disgusting, but what happened in the church is disgusting. And I don't know what is more disgusting about what happened in the church. I don't know which is more disgusting or which is more disappointing, right? Which is more disappointing. But of course, the AG of Minnesota won't do anything, right? Because he interprets the FACE Act to only protect abortion clinics, not churches too. So there you go, friends. There you go. It's just, I don't know. It's just sad. It's sad. It's sad. But, in order to keep people under control and in order to keep them distracted, right? And ask yourself this, who is benefiting by allowing this to continue? Who is benefiting? And interestingly enough, if I'm not mistaken, right, the two unfortunate souls, poor unfortunate souls, that's from the Little Mermaid, friends, Ursula, right? We're not even from Minneapolis or Minnesota. At least I know the one wasn't. Right? Drive, baby, drive. Right? So what the hell were they doing there? And we know they're being paid. We know that too. Right? But just keep this in mind. Okay? Keep this in mind. Their time will come up when they are at the front of the line. Right? Because there's going to come a time when they're going to start eating their own, right? Eating their own. Because they're going around accusing everybody of being an ICE agent, right? Which I think is hilarious, right? So there's going to come a time when they're going to start accusing each other of being ICE agents. And that's going to be really hilarious, right? But you have to ask yourself this. Why are there no legal Somalis out there fighting against ICE to protect the illegal Somalis? Why? Why are there no black people, African American, AKA? Why are they not out there, protecting the illegal Somalis? Why are there no Latin Americans? Why are there no Mexicans? Why are there no Koreans? Why are there no Muslims out there? I want to see Don Lemon go into a mosque and accuse them of being ICE agents. I want to see that happen. Because he's not going to do it. Because he will not make it out. So I just don't get, yeah, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does, Fran. But you don't see him going into mosques, do you? You certainly don't. And you don't see him going into temples, do you? You certainly don't. Or synagogues, do you? You certainly don't. They're storming churches, Christian churches, because they know they can get away with it. They know they can get away with it. So, you don't, well, Christians shouldn't either, Fran. Christians shouldn't either. Right? You can accept the sinner, but you don't have to accept the sin. Right? You can celebrate the sinner, but you do not celebrate the sin. And Jesus loves the sinner, but he doesn't love the sin. Right? And we're told what's right, and we're told what's wrong. And we're told to stand up for what is right and stand against what is wrong. So anyway, friends, I'll feel better once the full moon makes it all the way. Another sister hen and I had a little bit of a powwow. We did, because we're both feeling like we want to punch ourselves in the face. You know, you get so irritated. You're irritated at everybody you can be irritated at. So the only other person left is yourself, right? Right. And, when you're an old hen, that's how it works. And so we decided that it's probably the moon phase. It's probably the moon phase, because I've been keeping track in my fabulous Mary Engelbright calendar. For the last 3 or 4 moon phases, I've been keeping track of how I've been feeling, right? And I kind of get this real craziness as we're waxing up, right? I know, friends. I know. And that's the way I'm feeling. Like Eggert in Men in Black. You know that character, Eggert? That's how I'm feeling, friends. Let me tell you something. All President Donald J. Trump has to do is find some perimenopausal women or some, old hens that are in the menopause. They'll get Minneapolis straight real quick. Real quick. Right? Yes, Fran. Yes. But it's so disheartening, right? It's so disheartening to see those that, wear the biggest crosses around their necks and praise the Lord the loudest and are blessed the most, right? Everything is blessed. And just to see them turn and run, right? Turn and run when they are confronted in God's house, right? With a bunch of other Christians. They're all there. And here comes Don Lemon and a bunch of banshees, right? We know. It was pre-planned, pre-coordinated, everything. On Signal, they found that out. It's all being planned on Signal, friends. So there you go. Some kind of secret thing. So, but I got a fabulous item tonight at the Goodwill. I will be posting it on the community page, and I will probably post it on Instagram. Let's just say, friends, Chewy is very comfortable upstairs now He certainly is. He got a replacement chair, an ottoman. He did. So it was just on a whim that we stopped by my local Goodwill tonight as we were heading out to dinner. And I'm so, so glad that we did. And I had been having something in my mind and been sending out the vibe, the frequency for it. And lo and behold, walk in and angels sung. They did, friends. They sung. Oh. There we go, friends. That was a shit show. Thank you all for joining me. I hope that you have enjoyed our time together as much as I have. And I certainly have. I feel better. I do. I feel better. You just got to get it off your chest, friends. You got to get it off your chest, right? You do. You do. And let me tell you something. If other people can get on here and bawl and whine and cry and bitch and moan, why can't I? Why can't I? Right? Right. And they get thumbs up. Why can't I? Right? Why can't I? And I'm not laying in bed, and I'm not in my pajamas, right? And I don't have a rat's nest of a hair. I certainly don't. When I'm bitching and moaning and complaining, I look half decent. I certainly do. I mean, at least I respect you all enough to put it together, right? To put it together, friends. So, if you're not busy Saturday night, Saturday, night's all right, right? I know, Fran, let it all out. Let it all out. Let it all out. Chewy just sits there and looks at me and just laughs. He does. He says, Lala, you can't change anything. And I'm like, you're right. I can't. Okay, friends, if you're watching this on the replay and you've enjoyed your time here at Lilleybugglane, leave a thumbs up on your way out and feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear from you. We certainly do. And guess what? I don't moderate the comments because we live in America. We have the First Amendment. So you can say anything you want to in the comments, and I'm going to leave it there. And if it's a crazy one, everyone will see it. So there you go. Right? Right. And there's some crazy comments, friends, if you want to go back and look. They're there. And I got screenshots of them too, because they make good thumbnails. So anyway, friends, thank you all so much for joining me tonight. It has been a fun month, hasn't it? It certainly has. And it went by lickety-split, right? And February is a short month. It is, right? 28 days. It's not a leap year, so it's only 28 days. And it's going to go by like this, friends. It certainly is. And I've got a couple of different kind of videos, right? I do. So we might not have our traditional Monday secondhand living haul. I might surprise you with a different kind of video, friends, right? A different kind of video. Shake up that algorithm. Shake it up, friends. Shake it up. Maybe I'll catch a wave somewhere, right? Right. So, are we ready, friends? I think you're ready. I know you're ready, right? I can see you're ready. I can see you're ready. I hope you are happy. I hope you are happy, friends, and finding lots of glimmers in your days, right? I know. I'm trying really hard, friends. It'll happen. I hope you're healthy. Take your zinc every day, friends. It is up to us. Let's all say it together. Healthy people are not profitable. Healthy people are not profitable. And I hope you are safe. I certainly do. Know the weather in your area so you can be prepared and not scared. Check out Max Philosophy on YouTube. He's my favorite weather boy to know the weather that is expected in your area. And there is a storm forecasted for the East Coast. Surprise! I think of you all often. You are never far in my thoughts, friends. And we will be together again soon. Aren't you excited? Good night. Have a great rest of the night and a great rest of the week. See ya.